Hello, everyone.
Hey, hey, hey. It's nice to see you all here. My name is Tomas. By the way, you saw the picture there. My name is Tomas. I'm the CEO of Macro Agency. And we have Arthur, as already presented. He actually came in here from Belgium, so give a round of applause. He just came for this presentation.
Thank you.
To give you as much value as he can. And together, we'll be talking about how to grow a bedroom hustle to seven-figure sales without losing profit. So our promise for the next 25 minutes is three things. A true story of Mystershirt and how it faced the hard reality of scaling too fast, what went wrong for the push for growth, and how we rebuilt for sustainable, profitable scaling. And as you can see, there's a reason why we're both of us on stage. Arthur is actually a client of our agency, and usually these things don't happen. But Arthur, as a client of our agency, he came in here just for this talk. So we'll have a bonus part on how to make sure the brand agency relationship works as well. So Arthur, the stage is yours.
Thanks, Thomas. Thanks for the kind words. So I'm Arthur. I'm coming from Belgium, all the way here just to do this presentation with you guys. And I want to share the story of my brand and then attach to that like the main bottlenecks we faced. And like after the past 4 years, we've been building this brand. And like we've been facing every kind of struggle. And I want to share those. And like I will first explain my company a little bit and where we started in my bedroom. And then afterwards, I will say my biggest winnings that like basically every brand is also passing by. So I started in my bedroom. This picture is just from July 16th, 2022. So I started in COVID. I was one of the lucky guys in COVID who was very happy, although it was a sad period, of course, for many people. I actually started the business in there, and I finally got the time next to school and stuff to, when I was 18 years old, to found Mystershirt in my bedroom. So like no third-party investments, no big funds, no rich parents or something, just me, my bedroom, and I wanted to buy a signed Kevin De Bruyne shirt, which might be familiar to you if you are into football, of 700 euros. So now we finally accomplished the goal of buying that signed shirt. Flash forward to today, 3 years later than the first picture in the bedroom. We hit the newspapers in Belgium. So in Belgium, we're pretty known right now. And we are now mainly focusing on expanding with Mystershirt. So by now we sold more than 100K shirts. And we are well over 50K orders. We will reach the 100K orders this year. That's the goal. And it will be close, but we should be reaching it for sure. So now we are with 10 people at the team, and like many students as well, because we are doing fulfillment ourselves. So that's the first thing that's different about our business. As soon as someone is growing with their brand, the first thing they do, go to a 3PL and outsource fulfillment. We still do it ourselves because of our mystery box concept. It's a little bit complicated. I will get back to that in a second. We just moved to a new HQ as well, with like office and warehouse at one place, where all the young guys, my friends as well, like I hired a friend of mine 2 years ago, and we are still working together. So like it started very small, hiring the friends and stuff, but now we are hiring many more experienced people and focusing on expanding, as I said. So the concept, what are we actually doing? We are selling mystery boxes. So we are buying football shirts from Puma, from whatever brand that you know in the world, from official football clubs, from Premier League clubs to South American clubs. We are buying them from brands, from suppliers, and putting them into a mystery box. So we are buying them in high volumes. Thousands of shirts are coming in each month, each week, and then we are putting them in a mystery box, and then it becomes the perfect affordable gift for any football fan. And people can also decide what they don't want to receive. So if you, for example, you like FC Barcelona, like me, then you don't want to receive a Real Madrid shirt, so you can just put it in the notifications or in the notes, and then you won't receive such shirt. So that's how it looks, Mystershirt.com, with the landing page, our nice 3D visuals, which I'm very proud of, and then how you can check out as well. That's how it looks. So of course, many people have just one product, producing it, and that's it, or like a catalog of different products. We have just one main product, the premium mystery box, and you can get as much as possible, like all the clubs over the world you can get in that box. So now more on like, now you know what we are doing, you know the concepts, and this is more like what we've been facing. And I really started, as you could see, in the bedroom. Like I didn't know anything about e-commerce. I didn't know anything about ROAS or ad spend or whatever. And despite what the announcer said, we actually did like 10K revenue in the first year. So we did 1 million just organically by me making videos on YouTube as well, playing FIFA and then promoting the brand a little bit. Also just creators making some TikToks, but like back in the organic days. And yeah, 1 million in the first year, in 24. And then the second year, I got into e-commerce. I got to know all the fancy stuff, like, all right, let's start paid advertising. We need to hire a CRO agency and this and that, and like all the, how it's supposed to be, ecom bubble started. So we went all in. Like we went, with the ad spend, we went to 400K in ad spend with a new agency, which cost us like 7K a month, which was for us the first big deal of like a retaining fee that we needed to pay. So the second year I saw, the first year I saw 100K net profit remaining on the balance in January. The second year, 400K in ad spend. We doubled the revenue, which is like a good sign, but the profit was just gone because it was in our new acquisition costs with paid ads. So yeah, result no profit, and we just learned, or like we ignored the new costs that we have to acquire customers. So yeah, investing in first customers is priority. You should be doing it. That should be the focus, but it needs to happen profitable. Otherwise, it's going to not work, I'm afraid. So like I found the bottleneck in the business back then, spending too much on ads, and basically just like the net profit was too low. So and I was ignoring that for such a long time. And Thomas will also go deeper into that because he helped me a lot with just understanding and realizing that. But in the main place, and many people of you as well, the magic is in the work you're avoiding. So like, you should be so focused as a CEO that you are just only working on the topic that needs to be fixed in the company in order to grow 10x. And as long as you're not doubling revenue every year, like that's a sign that you're not doing the right thing in your business. You need to grow consistently, otherwise you're doing something wrong as a CEO being. So yeah, just most of the times, your email marketing agency is not the problem, your product design is not the problem, and also your one underperformance that you're so mad about is not the problem. So I always thought like, all right, all fulfillment, like we are doing it all ourselves, that's our bottleneck. Like it's so difficult, it's so, like it costs so much to get people in place to actually have them packing the orders. Like it's a little bit more expensive maybe. You need to have a warehouse, you need to pay for the warehouse as well for the rent. But at the end, it wasn't the bottleneck. I thought it was because everyone was doing something else in this ecom bubble. But actually, this was just unique to our business. We understood our business as every business is different. So the actual fundamental that we need to focus on is net profit. So that's what we started doing. Like we started a production brand just to lower our cost of goods, because we saw a couple of things, of course. When you have too low net profit, there can go many buttons that are not right. So like the first one, our cost of goods could be a little bit lower. We switch it a little bit lower thanks to just starting a separate brand just for that. We did it very efficiently, so that's a good thing. Simply just optimizing operations. Like we've been spending €3.40 for each order that we are shipping out, and we reduced that after those changes from May to August to not even €2, just by looking at it and thinking, asking questions like, what can we do more efficient here? And like asking questions is so important when you're doing such things. So yeah, and then the main thing, like I guess many people need to do this, increasing prices. Like if you just increase your prices and nothing happens with the conversion rate, or like a little bit down maybe, like that's it, because every euro you're adding on top of what you're already charging is just more net profit. So like 9 out of 10 times fulfillment, whatever I just said, like if you just increase the prices and nothing happens, just test it. There are also tools for that, like intelligems.io is also a good software. That you can just A/B test prices and you can find your best performing price. So yeah, on that note as well, on finding the bottleneck and understanding what's going wrong in the business, focus is so important, and it's the most important skill that you should have as a CEO. Like just understand, like this is in our business the main constraint. Like every business has one constraint. Always, nothing is going perfect in any business. Like the one constraint you need to focus on. That's, I guess, my main priority as a CEO. So a couple of examples for that. Like you saw many brands as well doing subscriptions. Many supplement brands are doing subscriptions, and it's a very powerful thing. And I saw it again. The ecom bell, beautiful. Like we also need to do it, but it's for supplement brands. It's very nice because you're using it, you're consuming it. But in our case, like we have 60% gift givers that are buying from us. So people who are giving a gift don't want a subscription. People who are giving a gift, like they're spending already €60 on a box or €50 on a box, whatever box you're taking. So like that's a little bit too much as well to have it consistently every month coming in. and it's just pretty expensive. So like, again, we tried something, everyone was doing it, and I was like, actually, it's just not for our brand, it's not for Mystershirt. We also did something new. Many people are saying like mystery shirts, or there's also competitors named Your Mystery Shirt or whatever. So like there are many competitors that we have with different brand names. So, like we are really focused on branding and like making sure people understand Mystershirt is the only brand in mystery football shirts. And on that note, we actually got contacted to acquire a competitor of ours, and we actually acquired them recently. And that's yourmysteryshirt.nl, so a Dutch company. And now, by doing that, we really want to advance with that as well. So we have just more spots on Google. Whenever people are looking for mystery football shirts, you just want to gain more spots on Google, and you'll get more traffic and more sales at the end. So that's also something, like the bottleneck of our business is all people pronouncing our brand name wrong in Dutch, and like that's why we just want more of the brands with a similar brand name, so they all come to us at the end, because we own them all. So yeah. A big one, talk to your customers. All the answers are with your customers. Just literally call them. Especially in Europe, we are expanding as well now to all Europe countries, and like it's much more difficult than in the US. US is like one big general approach. In Europe, it's difficult. So like we really need to call, because in my case, for example, we are doing football fans as an audience. Like football fans in Germany are completely different than football fans in Flanders, in Belgium. So that's a big one as well. LTV is so important. Like you just. Today, if you have a dropship business and like you're just not making any returning customers, or like no one is coming back to you, everyone hates your product, you're not going to succeed. You can make 5K in the first month maybe, but like it's done. For me, you need to get customers who are coming back. Otherwise, you're not doing anything that makes sense. And it won't make you happy as well. That's also a big one, I think. So yeah, in general, the biggest cost is in missed opportunity. And make sure your customer gets all the attention he deserves. Because at the end, nobody knows you, and the customer is buying with you, and whatever he's seeing is the only thing that exists. So that's it from my side. I will pass this one to Thomas.
Yes, thank you, Arthur. There's actually one more big change that Arthur didn't mention properly. He decided to hire a new agency, and that's where we, as macro agency, came in with this big black cake sent to their warehouse. So I'll show you the very first month of us working together. So I'll show you the before, what Mystershirt was doing before we stepped in, the exact changes that we did across Meta, Google, and TikTok, and the after, how it affected the results. So first of all, when we reviewed their data, everything looked fine on the surface. So ad spend, 55.6K and growing a month. Revenue at 252K a month and growing. Blended ROAS didn't seem terrible at 4.83. But the profit just wasn't showing up as expected at 9.3% or 23K a month net profit. So we have to look beneath the surface, not only the top metrics, to see the killer whales that are hiding. So what was the biggest issue? It's basically two things. So they were spending on the wrong traffic and trusting the wrong numbers. The previous agency that Arthur worked with built the ad accounts in what we call the safe mode. So it's basically quick and easy to maintain, can be run by a junior with minimal oversight, and looks stable on the surface. But there's a big problem with that. This setup burns a lot of money on inefficiencies, and that might work when you're a bit smaller, but if you want to get to the next level, you need to like more detailed attention to the acquisition. Otherwise, it will just make you sad. So to scale extremely profitably, that's the key. You need platform-specific strategy, not just blended ROAS logic. You need to know where every euro is going, or every dollar is going, and whether it's doing its job. So in their case, the blended ROAS was 4.83. It seems fine. By the way, their break-even ROAS was 2.97. But when we broke it down by ad platforms, for example, Meta, 2.4 ROAS. TikTok, 1.8 ROAS. Google, the only one above the break-even, is 3.6. So can you guess what was the issue? So basically, as Arthur mentioned, he grew on organic. And their organic sales were covering for their paid ads inefficiencies, and their whole profit just was being burned because of organic covering for it. So when we joined, our goal wasn't like a new funnel or some special creative strategy. No, it was stopping bad spend and optimizing for profit. So here's what we did. We looked into 3 platforms, Meta, Google, and TikTok. Starting with Meta, we just optimized already running ads. they had very interesting setup, as I mentioned. For example, last significant edits were made 17 to 95 days ago, meaning it's burning a lot of money. No new creatives or testing variables introduced in recent weeks. 0 active optimizations in play. And as an example, they have a video running, 1.5K almost spent on ads with 1.2 ROAS. So it's being basically neglected. So anything below the target ROAS, we just shut it off. The second thing, we fixed the retargeting and the audience setup. And this is one of the most common problems, so be aware and pay attention to this one. Basically, the top of funnel campaigns were wide open. And what I mean by that is they didn't exclude the warm traffic. So the cold audience, you're trying to get new customers, they're still marketing to existing customers. And it explodes the ROAS, but it's actually not a cold audience anymore. Additional, they had incomplete retargeting. So when you're doing retargeting, you need to find the most, highest intent audience that already knows about the product. And for example, they didn't even have the abandoned cart audience included. And the third thing, we restructured the campaigns themselves. They had multiple countries mixed in a single campaign and reducing the potential on the amount of testing you can do. So we created campaigns for each country separated. This way we can actually identify what works and why in each country, allowing us to scale more efficiently. And very important note, as an agency, even if it requires us to do more work, that's our problem, not theirs. So on the ad set, very similar problem. The ad set had everything mixed in one. So multiple countries, multiple creative types, multiple landing pages, never knowing what works exactly and why. So we have separated everything. So with Meta, results after these changes, ad spend dropped by 24% to 16K. Revenue increased after dropping the ad spend by 2.6% from 50 to 52K. And going into Google, we saw a very similar thing. Again, we optimized already running ads. And a disappointing thing we saw is 39% of ad spend was spent on below the break-even ROAS, especially knowing that most of these were just search campaigns. One additional small thing, as an example below, some of their ads didn't even have the logo or the brand name added. It's just showing the globe icon and their domain. So nothing was optimized properly. So what we did, focused budget on highest conversion keywords, updated max CPC bids to control customer acquisition costs better, cut the low volume clutter, and reduced branded search campaign spend because almost no one was spending on their branded keywords. The second part, we launched new campaigns, and because they mainly had search campaigns running with small budget going to shopping campaigns too, what we launched is Performance Max with target ROAS, and we launched retargeting since that was non-existent on Google before. So the results on Google, ad spend reduced by almost 30% from 22.8K to 16K. Revenue increased by 10% from 83 to 92K a month. And lastly, looking into TikTok, well, it was neglected with no changes for a while. They had, we redid the whole strategy. So they only had one campaign running, so we basically shut down that existing campaign. We launched new creative testing strategy, country separated, creative separated, and the results after these changes, the ad spend dropped by 38% just from these changes, from 11.7K to 7K. The revenue here dropped as well by 9%. But the interesting thing here, looking at the CPA side, cost to acquire the customer on TikTok dropped from 37 to 34 euros. But an interesting part, if we look into the part where we shut down the existing campaign, the CPA dropped down to 13 to 15 euro mark, which is closer to a 50% drop. So after all of the profit leaks were fixed in the ad accounts, this was the final result after everything. So total spend from 55K to 39K, so it's almost a 30% drop. It's a big, big drop to 39K. Total sales increased by 14.7%. That's from 252K to 289,000. Looking into total ad account revenue, it increased as well from 156K to 164K. The blended ROAS, this one skyrocketed. It's 60% increase for 4.8 to 7.7. And the new customer acquisition dropped by 17% from 18 euros to 15 euros. So imagine this is money falling down. the total profit increased from 23K to 47,000. And that's like 24,000 extra profit. So, and let me push on this a little bit harder. As you saw, it's like 14.7% increase in revenue, but that was 2 times the profit. And if we look deeper, we lower spend by 16K a month, and that goes straight into profit. Also, extra 37K in revenue, that's around 20% profit margins, additional 7,000 euros extra profit on top. So I'll iterate, this is super, super, super important. If you have 20% profit margins, €1 spent is like 5 times more expensive than €1 received. So you need to be really, really due diligent with your profit. So to recap this part, we have 3 main takeaways. If your goal is to maximize profit, that's the most important thing. You need platform-specific strategy, not just blended ROAS logic. You need to actively manage your campaigns to reduce the profit leaks. And you have to be on top of your customer acquisition metrics. Basically, to not waste any unnecessary money. And as mentioned, I'll give this part to Arthur. We have not only 1, but 2 bonus parts, actually. I had a lot of numbers, but I'll give it to Arthur to give more actionable steps to go on quickly.
Thanks, Thomas. Yeah, so I was flying here from Belgium, apparently. I was thinking, like, what can I actually bring to the audience as well? That's like, aside from my story, like, it's a nice story, like, you can see the bottlenecks, and I guess there's a lot of dots that can be connecting with you in the future as well. But aside from that as well, like, I've been considering exactly 1 year ago, like, should I have this paid ads agency? Should I have a CRO agency? We almost hired a CRO agency as well, but like, it was not necessary at all. If you just do these things, like, I guess it's the highest possible ROI that you can get from a conference or whatever. So I guess take a picture of it. I will be on the side. Like, if you just implement and make sure your font sizes are 14 plus across all the website and the headlines between 18 and 24, it's a gold mine of return that you will get in CVR. So that's a very important one. And of course, in general, make things crystal clear. Like, just give your website on a phone, not on a desktop or whatever, on the phone, to your daughter of 5 years old, to your girlfriend who doesn't understand shit about football, for example. And like, just give it to people who don't understand and make sure they just, with every question they have, to actually adapt and to make sure to list it as a to-do and to actually send to the developers and to change it and to test it. Like, you can A/B test everything these days, so make sure everything is crystal clear. That's an important one. Also, aside from the CVR topic, if your refund rate is still above 5%, then you have a problem. Then there's still a product that can use some fixes. And again, we talked about profit so much today. Like, whatever you're doing there and increasing is just net extra profit and just less hours of work, like less costs in the payroll as well, for example. So otherwise, if it's not below 5%, you need some fixes. And then the second bonus on, like, I'm here from Belgium again, just for Thomas, just for his beautiful face. So we're like, what's important between this relationship? From my side, as a founder, I'm a creative founder. Like, I like to make ideas, I like to build plans and execute on them, and I like to build teams and manage them as well. And I'm not a technical founder. So many guys are like in the ad accounts, in the ad managers. I'm not at all. So from my side, it's like giving the trust of that and talking it up front as well. I guess we've had like 5 calls up front to just discuss the issues that we had before, and I just didn't understand it myself because I'm not technical again. So yeah, trust is a very important one, and just in general, like my team as well, integrating into their team, being kind, not nice, is so important. And I guess communication-wise, we are both very happy from what you are doing until now. So that's from my side, and I will hand it over to Thomas again for your part of the story.
Yeah, one thing to add, as Arthur mentioned, we had multiple calls before he even became a client. He was sending like 18-minute voice notes on WhatsApp, talking about his problems, and we discussed a lot of things even before he became a client. So actually caring about clients is one of the most important things. So what to expect from your agency? I do have a big list of it. So expect the agency to actively manage campaigns and make adjustments in real time. As I mentioned previously, the previous agency was just neglecting everything, making sure it's like easy for the agency to work on, not necessarily the best for the brand. If something isn't working, like the agency should spot it first and turn it off. If it's working, they should be the first ones to like ring the bell for scaling. And scaling profitably means Meta doesn't equal Google, doesn't equal TikTok, doesn't equal any other platform. It has to be very focused on each channel's role in growth, not just blended logic. Also, expect your agency to run controlled experiments, not just random changes. And they should have a framework for creative testing, audience segmentation, and just scaling winners when you get them. Also, profit-focused agencies are rare. And expect your agency to focus on cash flow, contribution margin, long-term sustainability, not just like short-term vanity metrics that make the agency look good. And also, the best agency is the one that is an extension of your team. So if they don't care about the brand almost as much as you do as an owner, it's probably the wrong partnership. So thank you all for coming. Thank you all for listening. We appreciate you coming here. And if you have any questions, I believe you already could have put them here, but you can connect us on LinkedIn or anywhere, and we'll gladly answer them.